timer is set. We're in the room with Aaron McClelland. What about you?
How are you, boys?
Good. It's been a while since we...
Been a minute.
It has, hasn't it?
Been a minute. When was the last time I seen you, boys?
Marbella? No. The less said about that.
Marbella's banned subject. Yeah, probably going back 3 or 4 years at least, right?
Well, yeah.
Madness.
Yeah. So a lot's happened since then.
A lot has changed.
Well, we need to start at the start, Aaron. So, talk to us about how you first got into the fitness industry and then lead us up to how we got into...
Cool. So, my past probably, I would say about 12 to about 18 or 19 was just completely off the rails, just from complete exposure to people, things that I definitely shouldn't have been around. So it was a complete environmental factor. So
that's just called living in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, literally. So changed environment, completely moved. I always trained. I was always athletic, played a lot of rugby. Finally then got into a gym called Rock Pit, infamous bodybuilding gym in Lisburn.
Yeah.
And there's where I hired my first PT, and my first PT was Phil Graham. So I kind of hit the lottery on that back then, and then just became absolutely obsessed with bodybuilding. I wouldn't have ate a gram of rice more. I was that guy. Everything was Tupperware, but I even remember back then, playing FIFA on mute, listening to Nick Mitchell podcasts, while meal prep was happening in the kitchen, getting ready for my LIA course the next morning.
Holy shit.
Going there with the meal, you remember the 6-pack meal bag prep?
Yeah,
I had them. So going down there with 6 meals. Oh, it was wild.
Marketer's dream you were.
From that then, Phil had kind of pushed the idea on me with, do you remember caveman training?
Oh, right.
He had kind of pushed that. I could maybe see you doing something like that. I started PTing in Rock Pit, getting busy. And then I got a couple of grillings from Phil, being like, you're fucking spending too much time in the business, not on it. Behind the protein bar, making shakes, just chatting shit to people and wondering why I wasn't growing. And then my whole business just flipped because I became that call out. I'm sure you boys have been called out by mentors in the past, but when you get a call out from someone that you respect and they really show you the mirror for what you need to see, I think that's what I love about coaching. I appreciate coaches so much who just cut the fat straight away and tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, as much as it's painful and as much as you fucking hate the people in the moment. Hate's a strong word, but as much as you are pissed off by what they say in the moment, it's always like that. There's something behind that truth. So from that, I actually got offered a job in a brand new gym that was opening in Cookstown, which was about 50 minutes from my house. So back then, I was promised the world, literally promised the world. I was promised, you're going to coach the gym, you're going to coach the PTs in here. I was a good coach. I got great results. So they wanted me to help upskill the team and manage the gym. So I thought, brilliant. I'm not going to pay rent in this gym. Why am I not going to go there? So went straight in there, most expensive coach in the area. They moved the goalposts on me. It was a complete shit show. The gym now has changed hands. But my rent, in 2 months, I paid $2,000 in rent. For a PT, an average PT's rent in a more rural gym nowadays is probably $250 to $300. So that gives you context on how much they moved the goalposts on me. That led to, then obviously it was quite tight for me financially, even though I was making good money and I was expensive. I still had expenses with that travel. So I had to find myself sleeping in the car at lunchtime, clients in the morning, and then clients in the evening or whatever. Brutal. 2 years of, every hour I could work, I worked, and just got really, really depressed.
Sounds like you were getting taxed for being good, just for your success.
Fucking horrendous. But would not be without it. Wouldn't be without them lessons, that pain, because I feel like that led to the big breakthrough for I remember being told there is fucking nothing you can do about this until your name's above a building.
Oh,
I was like, fuck.
That came to you that was the epiphany.
Yeah. So from that, it was right, how do we do that then? Thankfully, I had a decent credit score. So I was able to secure a Tesco loan, which was $25,000. Payback amount on that was $410 over 8 years. Now, like I said, I lived 50 minutes away, but my house back then was 6 or 7 mile away from the closest town either side. So literally a rural lane with one car should probably be on it, no more. So you can imagine when I set the gym up, 17.5K went of that loan went to purchasing a shed and building a shed. So my kit, talk about a shoestring budget, my budget for kit was like 12.5K. So it was like I had minimal, but I had shitloads of passion and enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold 30 memberships before the gym was built. And I'm not joking, like I sold gym memberships to people who didn't drive. Don't ask me how, I fucking did it. And my consultation process back then, I was like meeting people in Starbucks in the local town Antrim, which is where I am now. I'd give them a diary, a protein shaker, fucking bought them a coffee, 45, 50 minutes, 60 minutes of my time. And then when it came to doing the payment link, you know, maybe like post-consult, 20 minutes after, I'm not doing it. The people just couldn't comprehend it and get their heads around it. So it was really challenging that way. And then just before I'd left that gym in Cookstown, though, like I knew I needed help. I knew I needed support. So back in the day, I've always been big into education. I've always been big into reinvesting in myself. And I think if you're listening to this as a coach now and if you're not reinvesting in yourself or you're not putting yourself in the proximity of smarter people, like that is the first area that I would start. So back in the day, I went to a functional movement screening course with yourselves. We spoke about this off camera, but like I genuinely was like a kid in a sweet shop when I went into their gym. I remember seeing the Impact logo on the nice, the wooden platform in the gym. They had the Alico plates. They had some Alico barbells. And I was literally just running around that gym, touching everything. And I knew like, I'm going to be a fucking gym owner. So like, that was like,
Deadly.
that came full circle, you know? So then when I came to deciding like, I'm going to set up a gym, I knew I needed help. I knew I needed mentors. I knew I needed people who could market and who could sell. So I needed them skills. So I invested in them skills with yourselves. I joined the Ascension Mastermind, made some friends in there that I'm still friends with to this day.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the fucking place to be. It was unbelievable. Learned so much, implemented so much, and then we just started to grow. So again, circling back on having a single rural lane with maybe 70 cars up and down it started to become problematic. So the council then, obviously, in good old fucking council fashion, come along and say, not having this. I remember being on the phone to you, being in the cottage, looking out into out onto the loch, which was my view at the time from my cottage, and really stressing, freaking out. The council are shutting me down. I've got no fucking money, blah, blah, blah. I need to get a unit. You were like, you'll be all right, you'll be fine, we'll navigate this. You know, it was, and I think that's what great coaches do. Great coaches they do not give a fuck about what the problem is, they give a fuck about the solution. And that's straight away where that, you know, someone installing a little bit of belief in you when you feel like you cannot pivot makes so much difference. Even in all aspects of life, but specifically in like business is a fucking fight. You're fighting for your life every day, especially at the start. You know, the monsters just get bigger as you grow. Mm-hmm. So from that point, we were able to secure a private unit. And I remember signing for it, saying, I'm going to buy this. So that was probably 7 years ago now. And we completed on the build and purchase last year. Now, when I opened that gym, I was down to my last 500 quid. I remember, you know, my waiting area was compared to a dentist waiting area. Like that was just like a complete shoestring budget, but tons again, passion, enthusiasm, want to help others, wanted to build a better life. And we just fucking continued to pour into education, continued to pour into our clients, continued to grow, continued to scale. And now I feel like we're definitely one of the best semi-private facilities in the UK as a result of just constant education, consistently just like understanding what our people wanted and really going the extra mile. Like it's kind of who I feel like I am in the industry. Like I'll go the extra mile for everyone that we come into contact with, and that has been that's kind of been my journey. And now I've been invited to pretty much come onto the team now inside Power Room. So Power Room's Phil Graham's like top mastermind. So he wants me to now kind of help revolutionize how the semi-private world is being run, and you know, changing and disrupting that, if you like, with different price points and things like that. But previous to that, then I did my own consultancy and I set up around 20 gyms for other personal trainers. During COVID, we helped revive and support so many coaches to, you know, rebuilding their careers and continuing to serve people and build businesses. So it's been a been a hell of a journey, but it's not been without impact. It's not been without support. And I've had so many great mentors along the way, including you boys, who I'll always be grateful for.
Thank you. Getting little butterflies here as we're listening to this.
That's the impact of a coach, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's the impact of what you guys have done. Had I not have did FMS back in the day, would I have went on to impact so many people? Like, you think about even opening like 20 gyms, how many people are directly impacted as a result of opening 20 gyms? Never.
Shit ton.
Do you know what I mean? So it's been fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
That is some fucking story. Holy shit. Just marinating in the whole journey of that thing. Like, it sounds like there was some serious challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Like, looking back then, what was the biggest challenge you think you faced, and what was the lesson you got from it?
Building my emotional capacity, I would say, and my ability to deal with challenge, and my ability to not lose my shit at minor things. I remember being in the mastermind with you guys. Everything was about fucking growth. I was sitting in the boardroom. I think there was maybe like 30 to 40 of us in there, at least 30, but solid guys. I remember Darren Murray at the time being like, I did 16K this month. My gym hadn't opened at this stage, and I was being like, holy fuck, how is that possible? And I think Darren was doing that on like 1,000 square foot. Like, that's seriously impressive. Like, so fast forward then, I got my gym opening, but I was dealing with churn. So I remember being in the mastermind, but not really being present, and just being so fucking stressed because my number, I think I was trying to get past 80 at the time. From the process of being in the room, I dropped to 72. So I was attaching my worth to the money I was making. Like, a large part of my life, just from my upbringing, I dealt with a lot of like embarrassment and ashamed of like kind of who I was in the environment I came from. So like, it wasn't until I started making money in a positive way through helping people. But again, I was attaching my self-worth to what money I was making, which was such bullshit.
Yep.
And so overcoming that has been huge for me. That's probably been my biggest win. Has just been the complete personal development and character that's been built through going through everything, you know.
So you're saying that the biggest challenge then was probably the stories you had to investigate that you were telling yourself?
Yeah, a lot of like negative beliefs about myself, you know what I mean, and not seeing my self-worth probably, and then attaching that to a monetary number every month.
And how has that changed now?
I good question. How has it changed now? I think
we've only got good questions.
Yeah. I think for me now, like, I'm just proud of who I am. I'm proud of who I've become. I'm proud of the steps that I've taken. I'm proud of the man that I see in the mirror every day. And I think most men, kind of hide behind crutches or vices or whatever. And it's probably down to shit that they just haven't dealt with. So I spent like 2 or 3 years in therapy as well. Like, it's been a complete journey for me. But again, it's been life changing, and doing that stuff has then again given me the ability to just look at things so differently.
Yeah, because I think like if you attach your whole identity to your business, like you're saying there, it's quite egotistical, and then it's all about the number, isn't it? And then that affects the kind of story you tell yourself, and it's like, well, who are you outside of that? If you're just that one-dimensional person, and you only get fulfillment there, and then you walk out of your business and you're not the salesperson or the coach or who the fuck are you? And it's like, shit.
Yeah, like, who are you at your core? Like, what do you actually represent? What are your actual intentions in life? That's deeper fucking questioning. But I definitely feel like when you get to the root cause of more deeper rooted questions, the trajectory of your life will change as a result of that too.
Okay, so then did the intention of why you were in business at the start was kind of monetary, and that started to shift as you learned more about yourself as a person?
There was no at the start. There was certainly no this has to work. Like, there was nothing else to fall. If I was to fall back on anything, I was going into jail or I was being killed. Like, that was. So I was like, this has to fucking work. There was
holy shit. What was that other option? What was going on out there?
Again, my environment back in the day was just never positive. Like, there was just so much negative stuff around me. Back in the day, my dad had a company. So I left school very young, maybe like 15, I think. I left school, like, the teachers, to the point where literally, and I wasn't stupid. Like, I got into I was in a good, like, I was in decent class and stuff. Like, let's just clarify that. I wasn't in the chain gang. Like, okay. So I remember the yearhead just being like, Aaron, what are you coming to school for? I was like, shit, good point. So I just went straight into work, started making money. But at the time, my dad had like a pallet company. But that company, he basically hired people through what was called steps to work.
Okay.
So you can imagine steps to work. I mean, I was working with armed robbers. I was working with down and out absolute schizophrenic psychopaths who would have no problem pulling the trigger. Like that kind of like the worst of the worst people you can imagine I was working with. And that, you know, when you're around guys so young from like 12 to like 18 that are just fucking poisonous, everything you would want your kid to not model, I was modeling. So I think by 17, I had 5 suspended sentences for all different cases. And the only reason I stayed out of jail is because of how they all fail. So that was fucking mental. So I knew the life I didn't want. So I was just so committed to building something that was a lot better and a lot bigger than that, you know.
Holy shit. I did not know that. I did not know we were going to hear that stuff. Okay, so you've got this on one side and then you've got this gym business then. And you wanted this to work, but it sounds like at the start it was kind of a wee bit about it's money, egotistical.
More money for safety.
Right.
Safety.
Okay.
Like I had my whole life, I never felt safe. I would say genuine. Only this year I've started to feel safe within myself, which was a real fucked up thing. Just living in fear, living in shame, living in guilt, living in embarrassment, living in just toxic emotions, like. And only because of what was going on around me. Like there was a lot of stuff going on around me. I had to create a character that could protect. And when you're from where I'm from and what was going on around me, to create that character, you know, there's definitely aspects of me that was just not a nice person.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What was the turning point?
Probably the door getting kicked in, and you know, armed police in your house, in your bedroom. When I had a gym session planned for 6 a.m. that morning, I'll never forget that. Yeah, I swear to God, I'll never forget that. So it was that night. I was in bed for like 9 or whatever, and then that was it. I was like, holy fuck, this is now real.
Yeah,
this is really real. Yeah. So I was like, right, I need to get out of this.
Fucking hell. Okay, what happened next?
Lots of madness, to be honest. I lived out of hotels for just under a year. There was aspects. There was a plan to kidnap me. There was bullets in the post. There was absolute madness going on in my life. And again, this was not down to what a direct result of what I was doing. This was life choices from other people around me. But again, I'm a man. I'll own it. Like I certainly was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. But you know, it was just it was a fucking crazy time in my life. Like,
holy shit.
Tell us this then, all right? So kind of going back to that, and you mentioned about men, and you know, a lot of men are kind of wearing a mask or that type of thing. And obviously we get into lifting weights and we get into doing a bit of boxing or fighting. And it seems like, and even now, probably we've over the years probably gone head to head on a few things, you know, or I've had the challenge on a few things. How do you feel that you've kind of changed? What's the big change there?
I think the ego is just like, I'm always going to have an ego because I think an ego is healthy and positive, but I think like ability to handle criticism, ability to see that, again, the guys who I thought had my best interest at heart back in the day were the same cunts that were plotting to fucking kidnap me and do all sorts. So, you know, when I was probably butting heads at times, there was probably a lot of trauma creeping in that just wasn't dealt with. So in my head, I was like, you're trying to fuck me. So let's go then.
Yeah.
Do you know, there was that level
trust
of
issues.
Yeah, 100%. Just not willing to back down either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I had felt like I'd came through the fire of living in fear to being like, right, well, there's nothing I won't face now. You know, so it was mad, like mad how that stuff really shapes you and that trauma does change you as a person, like. But again, doing the therapy and looking at things through different lenses and understanding that, you know, you can change and not everyone is out to get you. That was actually what my missus had said to me. Like, she was like, not everyone is out to get you on. Like, she had to really, like...
I think that's a northern thing. I can say that now. Fucking looking over their shoulders, fuck. But listen, it is environmental, isn't it?
100%.
You know, if you're living in an environment where bad shit could happen at any point in time.
Yeah. And was happening.
And was happening. It makes sense.
And you did have to walk down the street looking over your shoulder?
Yeah, for sure.
Because one step into the wrong fucking curbs and then you see they're painted red, white and blue. For me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in the wrong area.
It wasn't necessarily like, I was never that way. Like, I was never like, I was never that, like, I was definitely never like Protestant or Catholic. Like,
Yeah,
I am a Protestant, but like, I'm not religious whatsoever. And I trained in the Gravaki Road gym, which was the most Catholic area and where I was from. And I had good relationships with everyone. And still to this day, I'm friendly with the owner of that gym, a great guy, a guy called D. It was a gym called VO2. So you know that
to the max.
Yeah, that's VO2 max. That's what the gym's called. Yeah. So there was never, you know, that was never a challenge. It was just all the shit that was unfolding and the characters that I was kind of being influenced by. And it wasn't young guys. It was like guys in like late 30s, like 40s who were impressioning, you know. So when you're around people like that, you model certain behaviors that are just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Shit.
There's stories there, isn't there, though? It's like, you know, we all tell ourselves certain stories, and in order to move on to another level within your life, or to move from where you are to where you want to get to, I suppose first you've got to identify what is that story and then be willing to do something about it.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that kind of journey for you a little bit. And, you know, obviously you've moved way away from all that type of stuff now. So how has the story changed for you?
How has my story changed?
Yeah.
Just far more positive now, like far more realistic with my expectations of myself and people around me, and just willing to just, if there is challenges, you know, ask for help. Like, I think asking for help is a big thing, or like speaking to somebody as well is a big thing for me. Like, I'd have blew my top over silly things, but it would have just been a build-up of whatever emotions that just weren't being dealt with and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Or probably taking things personal that just weren't. You know, I think that was a big hurdle. Whereas now I'm just like, I'm just grateful, man. I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful for my partner, my kid, my team, my business, my clients, my mentors. Like, just even the shit that happened and the people that negatively impacted. Like, I'm grateful for all of that now. It sounds fucking hippie clippy, but it's not. It's just, I think it's the right answer to it. You know, or the right answer to a lot of it is just how do you find a positive in all of it, you know?
So we've talked about like the story you've told yourself, that you've identified things and things are starting to change for you. You've learned lessons from it. Are there kind of tools that you would use to?
I journal every single day. Like, that's non-negotiable. That's been non-negotiable for me for years. Like, years of commitment to that. I could show you books and I could show you hundreds of diaries, hundreds, and that's massive for me. You have to rewire your brain. If you're someone that has got serious trauma or you've been through it, you have to learn how to rewire your brain. You have to learn how to rewire your nervous system. And that's something that's not something you fix overnight. Like, I'm still fixing shit. I'm 31, coming 32 in July, and I'm fixing stuff from fucking 15, 16, 17, 18 years, you know? You don't just put that shit to bed. You have to commit to it. So for me, everything I do now is just a lifelong commitment. How can I be the best man possible and give him to the world then, you know?
So you're like, who's the man I want to become? Who's the person I want to be? And trying to trend towards that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're talking there about like rewiring your brain. That's the whole idea of like neuroplasticity. You've got to like hold the mirror up to yourself, be aware of these things and work on them.
Yeah.
And the journaling's been a big part. Anything else?
Training's non-negotiable. Like, I think so many people like think that training cures mental health. Like, I definitely don't believe that, because I know when I struggled mentally, the last thing I wanted to do was lift a fucking dumbbell. You know, I think we could all probably who have been there and who've been through it at times in our lives. Like, the last thing you want to do is go to the gym when you're feeling in them real low points. But something is just being more active, getting to the gym, getting your steps in, having a training partner is huge. My training partner is 56 and he's trained with me for like 7 years. We train 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, non-negotiable. This guy manages like a sales team that do 40 million a year, owns his own flying school. He's a fucking inspiration to me. So again, having more positive people to model against is something that I would really recommend. It definitely makes a huge difference, like psychologically, to how you think, especially if, you know, you've been around people who teach you how to think incorrectly. It definitely has helped me leverage my life. Like,
that is class.
It's the power of mentors too, though, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, not being afraid to put your hand in your pocket. Like, that's a big thing. Like, I paid my way to get to where I am, and in a way, and not just money, but effort, time, sweat, journaling, like all of it.
You're doing the work.
Yeah, literally.
That everybody talks about doing, but doesn't actually fucking do.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of people now talk it, but don't walk it. Like, I live it. I've lived it for fucking years. My proof is in the fact that I'm not in jail. You know what I mean?
So Aaron, listen, let's transition. We talk a little bit about fitness, talk a little bit about your business. So you mentioned there, you started off, you were a PT, you're working in the gym, you went to get this opportunity in another gym, you opened up your own place at the house, that transitioned into your own unit, your own building. So talk to us a little bit about some of the evolutions of training from your perspective over the last few years.
Probably the big thing for us has been getting team right, learning how to lead. Leading yourself is one thing, leading others is a whole different beast. And not only that, when you are a facility owner, you have to make the transition from a PT mindset as well. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is like there are so many departments of a business when you start to scale. Like I said, as you grow and scale, there's more devils as you hit new levels, right? So you're looking at, you've got staff, payroll, you've got marketing, you've got programming, you have, there's just so much involved. And like I say marketing as if it's just one, like you say marketing as a word and it's one thing. When you actually peel back the layers of the onion and look at what marketing is, it's having a full content strategy, having an events calendar that's built out over a 12-month period, having your marketing campaigns dialed around that, having your emails on lock, having your videographer on a retainer for a 12-month period so that you're a priority to him, having good communication with your head of marketing in the department of the business so that you can distribute your content so that you can help more people. That marketing fills your sales calendar. So, how are the marketing and sales team coordinating together? When you really start to unpack it, you really start to see just how many moving parts there is in running a gym, especially if you want to do it well. Like, listen, anyone can stay, like, and it's not a negative. Like, I just want to be more than just a gym owner. Like we bought our building. I want to be property multimillionaire. Like that's what I'm going to be. We're going to play this back in like 10 years and we're going to be like, yeah, fuck, he did it.
Well, no doubt.
The question I'd ask you is, but is that a little bit of the ego starting to slide back in there? Because I could ask you like, why?
Good question. Probably, you know what? It's the life I want to provide my family. I want to be able to take my family to nice places, to share experiences. And it's not just monetary that can do that. You can go to the fucking beach with the kids, get an ice cream, have a nice walk and have the best day ever.
Yeah, and it could be Portrush.
Literally.
Doesn't have to be Bali.
Literally. Do you know what I mean? Or you could be in a 5-star in Dubai.
Adair Manor.
Fucking balling out. And equally the same kind of emotions. It just depends what you want. The reason I love going to nice places and the reason I will always probably spend more than I should on experiences is because of how it changes how I think and how I look at my business. I go to Adair Manor and I'm taking pictures of the menus. I mean, like, fuck, they're using like quilted leather on the front of a menu. How could we do that? How could we use something like that to give to clients? Or like, you go to Dubai, you're in a nice hotel. How could we make one of the big things that's, jumps out at me is the smell of a gym. Because that's the first thing I get when I go into a nice hotel, the smell of it. So like I will run around my gym like a maniac with Rituals room sprays just to give people that impression that this is clean, this is fresh, this is how it is.
What flavours do we go with?
Do you not know their endocrine disruptors, Aaron? Fucking hell. Fucking up people's testosterone, man.
I've got a few.
He's got a program for that, though.
There's a black room spray from Rituals. It's great. There's an orange one that's great, and I just got a new green one there the other day. So I'm stocked. Like,
happy days.
That's interesting what you said there, though. Like, you go and you have 5-star experiences so that you can reproduce a 5-star experience in your gym, 100%. And you're willing to invest in that. You're investing. Whereas, like, I see an awful lot of people on the internet these days, on fucking the gram and all the shit, and they're like, I'm a high-ticket coach. And you look at what these people are doing, and, like, they're actually shoveling a lot of shit.
100%. Listen, I'll say this. Nobody does client experiences the way we do. Last time I checked, there wasn't a semi-private gym in the country that put their winning clients in Bentleys, chauffeured them to the Galgorm, had their partners waiting there at reception, paid for rooms, paid for, dinners. We also, that was the first one. So then I was like, fuck, how do we top that? So what we did, we took our clients to an undisclosed, like they didn't know where they were going. We took them to an airfield. So everyone was then on the next transformation program, got like private flight experiences and like micro light planes. We had like, I think we had like 4 micro light planes going. And then the winners of that transformation, a helicopter landed and we chauffeured 2 winners off to the Sleeve Donnerton helicopter for a lunch.
Holy fuck. How much is your gym? How much is the fucking membership?
This
Must
is
be like
so
$2,000
that's
a month.
the thing, like with the transformation. So I'm in a really low income area, believe it or not. So like average income per household for where I am is 30K, man and woman. Like that is fuck all when you really break that down.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just disrupting again the area and the industry and like you breaking down the belief system. So the transformation programs aren't about money for me. That's just like give back. Like, we definitely don't make money on that, but I don't give a fuck. It's not just all about that. If you make your life about chasing money, if you make money your North Star, you're going to end up fucked. Mm-hmm. So my North Star is, how do my clients view me? How do I view me? You know, what kind of giving back do we do? You know, how do we look after people? You know, that to me is what separates us.
Tell us this, right? So I think from what we're listening to here, and let's say anybody that's listening to this or watching this back and they're kind of just dabbling their toe in the industry, or maybe even they're in it for a while. Fuck, they could be in it for years. Talk through like some of the stuff, that recommendations you might have for people. How can they start plussing their service or the experience or what they're doing? And we might kind of look at it and break it down into the different levels. We've got marketing, we've got sales, we've got experience.
Customer journey out the gate. So let's look at it like this. I don't know you. I'm looking at your social media. I'm looking at what you're producing. I'm looking at your call to actions. What does your sales page look like? What does the funnel process look like for me making my first contact with you? Let's say I've been engaging in the odd post, or maybe I'm just lurking from the outside. I then click onto your website. What does your website look like? Do you even have a fucking website? I seen a marketing guy, Facebook marketing guy, who for me just was the opposite to what I wanted to be, very much low ticket and whatever, was kind of stressing how you don't need a website. Absolute bullshit. You need a fucking website. If you want to be the premium dominator of your industry in the area, get a website. You're delusional if you think you shouldn't have one. It's just my opinion. And maybe your budget isn't there right now, but like at least have like a nice landing page. At least have something, because you can always make things better. So it's constant refinement of that customer journey for me is what will lead to the biggest kind of growth. So let's say, okay, I've filled in an application form. What does the call look like? How long does it take you to contact me after I've filled that application form in? What on the call? What do you say on the call? Once we've had the call, then do I have an appointment with you? What does that appointment look like? What's entailed in that? You know, off the back of that appointment, what's my next contact? You know, all them things that are embedded in part of the process. So let's see, after the initial sale, I've paid my money. Then what happens? You know, what's my first session look like? How am I greeted? Do I feel strange? Do I feel like I don't belong in where I am? Because most gyms repel the people they're trying to attract. So how are you making people feel comfortable and safe from the minute they come through the doors? A lot of that is going to come down to your environment. So for me, that's why I reinvest so much into the gym. I want my gym to feel like a 5-star hotel. I pride myself on that. You walk into my gym, we just splashed out on like Watson,
Seen that.
Like tanned Bentley stitched seats, benches.
You like Bentleys, don't you?
I really will have a Bentley. I will have a Bentley.
Continental GT.
New house first. Yeah, coupe. Yeah. So you know, it's all them aspects of the product. And then even when I leave, say I was a member for a long time, I've left. What does that nurture process look like? Like, you still give a fuck? Do you hate me? Do you know what I mean? Like, because there's aspects of that. There's aspects of that. And again, probably my early days of like being a coach, like there was definitely when I hadn't did as much work on myself. If someone left me, I took it personal. Do you know what I mean? Obviously it never is, like, but when you're in that mindset and you're really trying to force evolution, you're trying to force growth, it can be a mind fuck. Like that's why it's important to not attach your worth to a metric, to a financial, number. Business, as you know, Shaw, as you know, Jay, like it's highs and lows, it's ups and downs, it's punches in the face when you least expect them. How are you mentally? Where's your mental capacity to be able to deal with that? Mm-hmm. That's when you find out who you are. Like,
I like it. So some of the things you said there was customer journey. Like, what does that all look like? And then, do you actually have the touch points mapped out from the first moment someone looks at your page? What do they feel when they look at that page, and how do they feel? And then from the call, or whatever way you book in, and then the call all the way through. And what you're talking about there is like, is there a congruency between the experience they first initially receive or feel to how they're actually brought in?
Well, there's two ways to look at it as well. Like, you could have a shit coach with shit hot systems, and you could have the opposite of that. You could have a great coach with shit systems. The guy with the better systems is probably going to do better than you, because best known beats best. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're best known and you're best, you dominate. That's where domination in the market's going to come from.
Gotcha.
So definitely be like, don't get it perfect, get it going. Like I said, my gym started on a shoestring budget, but my vision was always clear.
Nice.
You know, I always wanted to be the best, like, and that's never going to change. Potentially, you could look at that as like ego, but that to me is not healthy. Like, that to me is healthy. Wanting to be the best is better than wanting to be.
Well, you need to have
less
some
than that,
sort of,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to have some sort of vision or direction that you're trending towards, don't you? Like,
well, look at it like this, right? I always remember you, and I'll never forget you saying about how you slept in in your building when your vision was to launch, you know, your courses. And I remember sleeping in the car, so I was instantly able to resonate with you, because I know work recognizes work. I recognized you'd put work in that I had also been putting in. Mm-hmm. Work is work. If you're not willing to put in work, and you're trying, and like, this industry will swallow you alive. Mm-hmm. There's hard miles that need fucking done. And if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and you're not willing to sleep in the gym, you're not willing to sleep in the fucking car. Alex Hormozy, again, if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with him, slept on the floor of the gym.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of the marketing bucket we were touching on there.
Kind of that marketing. So what's next for you? So after marketing, you've got somebody's attention, you've maybe got their name, their email. What's next?
The sales process would start then. So quick calls usually, my initial call is usually like 5 minutes. And all I really use that call for is to set an appointment. I'm very clear with what I want from that call. Number one, I want to know why we're on the phone in the first place. What is your biggest challenge? What has made you reach out? Where are you at? From that, I want to establish if I can fix what their problem is. If I don't feel like I'm the right person for them, I will 100% say that. From that, we set an appointment in the gym, and then we begin to unpack and build out a blueprint for that person as to how we're going to get them to where they want to be. So our program is a 90-day accelerator. Phase 1 is calibrate. Calibrate is the phone call. Calibrate is the evaluation. Calibrate is the minor touch points that go from there to building their plan. So like, we'll send them like the lifestyle questionnaire off the consultation. We've did the body scan and stuff. Then we'll move into activate. Activate, we've got you on the booking system. You've did your first session. You have got like 3 micro wins inside that, like 3 micro goals that we'll set. So it could be like, for me, I think it's really important that you help people build momentum, especially early. So inside the first 30 days, we're looking at, I don't know, arbitrary numbers here, but let's say like, depending on the individual as well. So it could be like, I don't know, 4 24-hour fasts. It could be, 3 sessions a week. It could be, hitting X amount of protein. Or, in fact, you could put a performance metric in there. It could be to have completed a 2K row in under 10 minutes. Let's say there's three markers inside activate. Then next 30 days, you move into accelerate. So 3 bigger goals. That are going to push these people and challenge them a bit more, but they're still along the lines of a nutrition goal, a performance goal, and maybe like a personal goal. It could be like a body metric change. Could be a woman's dropped the dress size, a guy's dropped 2 notches in his belts or whatever. And then we go into kind of body and mind mastery, which is our 90-day phase. Inside that kind of triangle, if you like. And then we'll have like outcomes. So number 1, I want to know how you're going to celebrate when you get the result. So the outcome is £25 off. How are we going to celebrate that? And we'll attach them to a date and a deadline on that. And then, we'll have other micro goals that support the 30 and the 60 inside that. So at every given point in your journey when you're working with us, especially in that 90-day period, we know exactly where you are. We know if you're winning or not. We know what a good result looks like. We know what an okay result looks like. We know what a poor result looks like. And we're able to intervene at any given point to course correct. Again, Dan John, keep the goal to goal. That way, when we have that process and we're tracking all these people inside Trello, if you don't use Trello's good software to track and map out customer journeys, especially when you're doing it at scale. It's fucking hard to keep a track on 100 people, 150 people, even 30 people. 10 people. Trello's just useful no matter what, because you can literally update their cards inside Trello and literally show the client, we've got you here. But this is where you're losing, and this is what we need to fix. So there's none of this someone can point at you. And this was in my early career in fitness, I would have took the blame for people not getting fucking results.
Yeah.
Which is mental. Whereas now it's like, there's stuff that we need to fix, and here's how we're going to do it. So you're always like showing them that you are on the same side of the table as them. You know, I want this result as much as you. That's kind of how we look at it.
Amazing.
That is lovely. Like listening to you, you know, I'm getting all moist about that, because I'm going like, this, your customer value journey is mapped out. But I can also probably hear the dudes who are beginning going, fuck me, I don't have any of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, say we're just getting started here. What do you think is the best things for somebody to get in that marketing bucket and sales bucket? What's the bare minimum I could get started on and start doing a pretty good fucking job?
So maybe like attach some KPIs, like what are your key performance actions inside marketing, and what are your KPIs around that? So let's take, again, basic numbers. It's a volume game, I think. So how many offers are you making? Who are you as a coach? What is your lead magnet? Because your lead magnet is going to be solving problems for people for free. So again, for us, we're running a menopause management guide. We're running a testosterone toolkit. So we're solving two complex problems, but we're also getting people to put their hands up to say, shit, that's me. I have that problem.
Yep.
You know, other coaches, it could be whatever. You know, there's so many different lead magnets, as you guys well know, that you could put out.
Yep.
But I think the lead magnet needs to be congruent with the coach and the product.
Nice.
And if you get that wrong, then you know, you're just going to open up a can of worms to solve problems for people that you don't want to work with. I've always worked with kind of over 40 market. It's just always been my market. And the reason it's always been my market is because I started out as a one-to-one coach. It's typically over 40s who could afford me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That really hasn't changed much in the market.
No.
And I also wanted to work with clients that, you know, we spoke off camera, but who were like kind of set. You know, they had their routines, they had their rituals, and I wanted to be coming in as something that complemented their life. And that's absolutely what I feel like we do. When you create a gym that people don't mind going to, because there's no mirrors, there's no egos, it feels like a fucking hotel, that is where you're going to win. Because on the days that they can't be fuck training, you're more likely to get them through the doors. Especially because we don't kill them on the gym floor. Like inside our gym, we could have like 3 programs running at once. Like we could have like, listen, I can see your body. Like, we'll do a session brief before every session. So I'll be able to identify what's body language looking like, guys. What's your energy like? Understand this is your session. This is not our session. So there's 3 versions of this. If you are feeling overly stressed, exercise is a stress. I would far rather you come into the gym and do bare minimum, but tick the box, than leave yourself killed, sore for days, demotivated. Because the next time you go to do a session when you're feeling flat, you're going to straight away take your mindset to how fucked that last session made you feel when you didn't feel good. And that can actually have a more negative effect, and that's when people are going to cancel memberships.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, like I said, I like to think we sit on the same side of the fence as our clients, same side of the table as them. If I was that person, based on how I know they're feeling from what their body language is telling me, what's not being said by looking at someone in the eyes that you're doing a session brief with, you'll know. You'll know. If you're a good coach, you'll know. And then for us, it's just adjusting the volume accordingly.
Like it. So key performance actions and key performance indicators in those areas. The simplest ones you can.
As basic as possible. Just really basic. You don't need a overly, so like 30 pieces of content over the month. I need to make 1 really good lead magnet. I need to have my sales page up and going. I want to set, you know, let's say your goal is to close 5 sales. How many appointments do you need to set to close 5 sales? Do you need to set 30 appointments? Do you need to set 10 appointments? What does that number look like? So, you know, just having like that kind of mapped out for yourself, I think is important.
And then measure those numbers.
Literally measure what's working, what's not, you know, basics.
What if I'm a dude standing in a gym, I don't have pages or anything, I'm just walking the gym floor? What are the kind of things then you would think could be good goals to set for yourself?
Conversations. How many conversations have you had?
Love it.
How many conversations have you had in a week? I'm telling you now, if I was in a pure gym or a commercial gym with 3,000 to 5,000 members, I would have a full diary on them.
Wouldn't we?
Easy. Like, do you know what I mean? It's fucking not rocket science. But if you're not willing to have conversations and solve problems for free, forget about it. You talk, you know, you listen to great marketers now. Great marketers now talk about delaying the ask. Mm-hmm. So if I'm working in a commercial gym setting, I'm going to do nothing but solve problems for at least 30 days minimum before I ask someone for something. And if you're, again, to be honest, if you're not willing to put in even 90 days unpaid, you're probably in the wrong game.
Yep, I like it.
You're probably in the wrong game. But what's on the other side of 90 days of doing that work?
Lots.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a career. It's a fucking career.
It's just, we say that literally the exact same thing. Conversations will lead to closes. And, like you're saying there, in the first 30 days, you're going to get to know everybody in that gym, and they're going to get to know you too. If like somebody doesn't come back after, the first 2 weeks you work in there and be asking you how they can become a client, you're probably doing something fucking wrong.
Well, let me put it like this. I go to like the Hilton round the corner from me. So I'll go there to just use a sauna and do a bit of swimming and think and read. The conversations I have in there that I don't want to have, like I go there to switch off, I go there to just read, but they just happen. Cunts just want to talk to you. Because, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even from that, I go in there and just add value. I don't want anything. I don't care. I'm just there to add value. The amount of guys I have in there doing like 10 500s on the rower. Every time in the sauna, they want to talk to me about it. They're telling me about it. I'm trying to adjust their technique and stuff. They'll be sales in 12 months.
Yeah.
No,
but
no doubt.
Do you know what, it's interesting though, because lots of times we talk to trainers and they're struggling to get clients, and then you may see them sitting in the gym where they work. And instead of having those conversations where they're adding value, they're sitting in the office on their phone.
Literally the opposite to where they should be. Are you working in the business or on the business?
And that's back to what Phil Graham said to you that day when you were making those protein drinks.
Literally. I used to sit in the gym longer than anyone. I used to think being in the gym was a flex behind the protein bar, talking to the trainers. Go and talk to the people who need your help.
And I think an awful lot of people then get stuck in this idea that like if they just get themselves big and jacked and ripped, people are going to go, fuck, look at that guy. He needs to be, I want to train with him. It's like, you're not really your own walking advert. You need to show people that you can give them value.
Yeah, I think certainly if you're a coach, you should have an element of decent base knowledge. And to be honest, I don't agree with coaches being like 5 or 6 stone overweight trying to sell fat loss. To me, that's a messed up world we're in. When you've got fat coaches trying to sell fat loss. I'm not going to the dentist with no teeth. I'm not going to the accountant that lives in a fucking trailer. I'm not going to the baker that can't make nice bread. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's fundamentals there. I'm not saying, I'm not against people trying. I'm not against, but show me that your program fucking works if you're that way inclined. Bit fat shamey there. It's terrible, but that's. I don't mean to be that way, but it's just.
No. Look, I think we totally get what you're saying. That you've had to walk the walk in some way, shape, or form, and even look, the reality of it is, if you want to do transformations and make guys big and jacked, well, you can't be a little skinny dude. Literally, so
be the product. Like at least have. You guys have a core value that I have on my wall on my gym, and that is learn, live, lead. Is on the wall in my gym. I fucking love that, and that to me is like a really good kind of fundamental principle to run your business through as well. Like, what topics do you need to learn more about? How can you live more around that by producing content around that? How can you lead more people to get results that's ultimately going to unlock a really decent life for yourself, especially in fitness? It's a highly competitive market, but the cream rises to the top. It's not overly difficult to be great at what you do. The passion has to be there. Like, the intention has to be there. The micro actions have to be there. But once you get clear on them and you see a longer vision for it, like, so many people are so short-sighted. You've been in the industry how long, both of you? Between, 15 20 years?
Yeah.
No, my brand's 9 years old.
Yeah.
I still feel like I know fuck all. I still feel like I haven't scratched the surface.
Talk to us then about that. So, like, I mean, you mentioned this, the idea of renting a warehouse, throwing a few racks in it, even if they're black box racks, right? Throwing a few racks in it, getting the plates out. What do you see is the evolution of what we're doing in the kind of micro gym space, let's call it?
So what we're doing now, I actually did a video inside the power room there just before I came in here. And I had a 56-year-old client using Open Gym. So she went in, opened the gym herself. This is lunchtime. Off peak, went in, opened the gym herself. She was using the Kahunas app with her AirPods in, undisturbed, in the gym by herself, loving it. Never seen her as fucking happy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
56-year-old woman. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that to me is starting, like, the technology side of things. I think coaching people how to think better is huge. I think giving people more autonomy to do it themselves, but also knowing that they have the support and the accountability and the plan to get the fucking result. I don't think we're always going to... Like, I think what kills semi-private businesses is the timetable. It's fucking hard. It's hard to keep staff. I don't care how good a leader you are. It's hard to keep staff for like a long period of time when the timetable essentially is like early mornings, late nights, early mornings, late nights, early mornings, late nights. That's difficult to fulfill all the time. If you have a really rock solid 3 or 4 people in your team that are able to rotate that, but are all equally being well paid, I think like that to me is huge. But on the flip side of that, you could also half your staff costs and cut your timetable in half. By leveraging technology like the Kahunas app, like, you know, there's other software and stuff out there. That's just what we're using at the minute. So there's a nice blend of that. I think the hybrid kind of model, semi-private model, there's something there for sure. So like maybe people, I don't know, arbitrary number, but let's say people pay £100 a month for access to the app and access to the gym outside of peak times. You know, something like that. I don't necessarily think that's the only way. I'm personally not doing it that way. If you want to work with us online, it's the same price as it is in person, but we'll give you access to the gym if you want that. Maybe you live an hour away or whatever. Something like that. There's something there. We're kind of on the cusp of playing with it a little bit at the minute. So we've got a bit of a hybrid model in the gym now where people are paying, $997 for 90 days to do it online. They come to the gym, they get the check-in, they get the support, they get the accountability, they get the direction, and then they go off. But they've got the programming. Our programming in the gym is the programming that's on the app, is the programming that the 90-day hybrid clients get as well, because it's there's multiple tiers to it. There's the beginner, there's the intermediate, there's the advanced. And then certainly if we need to do like specialty stuff like the high rocks training or someone's prepping for a marathon, obviously we're going to, assist them with that like as well as like separate programming. But certainly like I feel like high rocks is huge at the minute, and I feel like it's going to be it's going to be bigger than CrossFit. Like,
yeah, there's definitely it's I suppose it's about being open to evolve and to change and realize, listen, you're not coaching athletes for the most part. You're coaching real people, and they're going to have problems that you need to solve for them, isn't it?
100%. What do you guys think? Well, like, what do you guys see for the space?
What have you got in there, John? What do you think?
Well, I wanted to ask you, like, is it, when you were talking about your own training, you were into bodybuilding and stuff, and I know a lot of trainers that are starting, they kind of come to the coaching business with their own biases and stuff. And sometimes that can be a thing where it's like, do you know what? You can't train your client like that. So how has your own evolution of how you should train clients changed over the years?
Probably, like when I was bodybuilding, I was so fucking compressed. Like I'm 5'11", good day. And I was like 16 and a half stone, taking all the wrong supplements. And that definitely can wreak havoc on you as well. Like, so for me now, it's definitely more about like, again, learn, live, lead. Like I love mobility work. I love strength work. I like taking the right supplements. I like educating people on that. Like I said off camera, I've got like 60-year-old clients who've just sent me blood work. So we're now partnering with a longevity clinic in Belfast. It's just opened. I really feel like they're revolutionizing things, especially with like anti-cancer and stuff like that. We've had 3 clients diagnosed with cancer this year alone. So for me, that's really making me want to push to be a better coach, to upskill, to get smarter, to partner with the right people who are a lot smarter than me. Like, being more open-minded to that. Like I feel like the coaching industry in the space now, like again we spoke off camera, but this 30-day 6-week bullshit, you're fucked if that's what you're doing. Like you really need to think about, am I solving more complex problems inside the industry too? Because there are there's a big chunk of the market that aren't being served at a high enough level. So if you can kind of understand what them complex problems are, and if you can simplify a process and you can have the right systems wrapped around it, the right team, the right partnerships, the right marketing, I think there's scope for a lot of money to be made. I feel like even since the pandemic, like health and fitness is on another level now, especially with social media's influence. Like it's weird now if you don't go to the gym.
Yeah. I think, like, you asked us the question, what do we think? And again, it depends on who you're training or who you're serving. But it's the whole looking at, right, who's not being helped within the fitness space. And it's like, if you're in your 20s, there's probably loads of people out there that can help you in all different ways.
Yeah.
But if you're in your 30s, maybe it's not so much. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it's like minimal to none.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's a whole... group of people that aren't being helped. And I mean, I think that would be something for trainers to investigate. It's look at those people and say, how can we help them? And you kind of touched on it. It's probably not going to be the same way as you help a 20-year-old.
No.
We all need to lift weights. We all need to do some mobility or stretching. We all need to do cardio of some description. But the mix and the blend of that, and then how you wrap it, and then how you add in nutrition and those other bits and pieces is going to be where I think there's a huge room to grow and develop.
Yeah, I think even training that like over 40 market, like more low intensity strength based sessions, 40 to 50 minutes in and out. You know, it's a nice workout. You know, you put in a couple of low impact cardio days in there as well. Like you're going to unlock new ranges of movement for these people, a higher quality of life. Like my big thing now is like, you're going to get 10 years of quality movement if you invest in us. Like that's what we're committed to. Yeah. Like you're 50, you just joined the gym, you haven't trained in fucking 10 years. We're going to change your life dramatically as a result of unlocking things that you didn't even think possible just because the awareness wasn't there. Like people in their 50s, you know, what were their parents feeding them around training and nutrition? I don't know, it was very much pub culture back then. Yeah. Now it's fucking changing. Even younger people now don't really, like I rarely drink. Rarely. Not that I'm a dick when I'm drunk, Renee. I prefer to be fucking.
You were good crack.
Literally. I just prefer to keep my head on straight and be focused on my business, be focused on my family, and be focused on myself.
Look, we had that conversation ourselves, and you know, you can go through these spells where you're a bit of a wingnut, and then you kind of look back and go, "Fuck, do I really need to be doing all that? Whatever all that is." Yeah. And you know, I'd kind of be, and I know Sean was probably touch on this as well, like. I don't know, can you be a wingnut in your 40s or getting close to 40 and
Not
have your business? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you kind of have to turn around and say, what is it that I want? And is that serving me? And I know that can sound a bit hairy-fairy as well, but it's like, you might look back and go, fuck.
Well, that's what you said earlier. It's like you're saying to yourself, who is the man I want to become? And it's like, sometimes there's a dichotomy there. It's like, that's not the guy I want to be for my kids.
Well, this is one thing that I absolutely loved. I went to see Jordan Peterson in Belfast.
Oh yeah, missed that one actually.
It was really good. But a big part of kind of what he was saying, and one thing he touched on was, you know, when you're trying to change who you are at your core, like when you're trying to change the trajectory of your life, there are parts of you that you love, that you like, that you have to fucking let go of. That to me is that spoke volumes. And if you're listening to this right now, think about the parts of you that you know aren't serving you, that you like, and ask yourself, are you willing to do something about it? Like stew on that question in the shower when you have complete white space to think. Like that's probably going to give you answers. You probably already got the answers when I said that.
I'll send you an email tomorrow. Subject line will be, I was thinking about you in the shower, Aaron. I have one more question. Like, what would the old Aaron say to the Aaron today if he got to meet him? What would he be most proud of?
What would the old Aaron? Fuck. Probably, you know, you're safe. That's it. You're safe. That's it. Like I lived in without safety for so long. And internally, like what I deemed to be safe. Living in fear is fucking no joke. For years of that. So you're safe. That's
Amazing.
probably it.
Aaron, tell us this. So you mentioned there about Phil's Power Room. I think you mentioned you might be having some interaction with it.
Yeah.
If people wanted to reach out to you or find out more about that, where do we go? What do we do?
Of course. So hit me up on Instagram. It's Evolve with Aaron. I will answer any questions anyone has. I don't care what stage you are in your coaching career. Hit me up. My goal is to add as much value as possible, leave this industry a better place than I found it. So if anyone has any questions, wants to voice note me, wants to message me, please reach out. And then on the flip side of that, if you want some information on Power Room and you want to dramatically upskill your business, your team, your thought process, your vision, and ultimately make more money and serve more people, then we'll have a conversation on Power Room.
Nice. Love it.
Awesome.
Aaron, thanks for taking the time, man.
Thank you, man.
Absolute pleasure. As always. Fucking sick.
Daily shit, man.